You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember.
From Daytona Beach, Florida, the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League is ready to get the season underway here in the birthplace of NASCAR. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the eSports Broadcasting Network. We're here at Daytona International Speedway and thrilled to be starting a new season in the MENRL. I'm Dave Regal, alongside my partner in crime this evening, Mr. Michael Self, and we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, on the eSports Broadcasting Network. And ladies and gentlemen, folks, glad to have you in with us tonight as a new league is debuting here on ESBN, and qualifying is underway. As mentioned, I'm Dave Regal, alongside my brand new partner, Michael Self. Michael, glad to have you with us tonight.
I'm glad to be getting back into this, and it's been a while, and excited to see these guys put on the show.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the Monster Energy Racing NASCAR Racing League is new here to ESBN, so we'll be learning the names and the numbers right along with you folks there at home. And, you know, quite frankly, what better place to be? There really can't be a better place than Daytona to open a season. I mean, you know, it's tradition basically at this point, no matter what you're running, where you're running it, you know, where we're going to be here at Daytona for week number 1. And, you know, Michael, I don't know how much experience you have here in these next-gen cars, but things definitely going to be interesting. Right now, taking a look at David Simcox Jr. in the Double Deuce Blue Oval Ford, sponsored by Auto Trader. And looks like David here on his warm-up coming toward start-finish line, just getting cranked up now. But looking here right now, Ryan Douglas sitting atop the pile as he dives down the backstretch on his opening lap. Michael, what are you looking for tonight in these next-gen cars at Daytona?
Yeah, I just got off a league race with him last week, so I am a little bit familiar with him. But, you know, one of the things I've noticed, it's really easy to lose the draft in these things. You know, you really want to stay in the draft as much as, you know, don't lose that back bumper. But you also got to make sure you don't touch them, or you'll send everybody spinning.
Yeah, and especially here in week 1, you don't want to be the guy that sends everybody spinning, you know, especially on that on that opening week. I mean, we're taking a look right now at David Simcox Jr., as mentioned earlier, as he is now finishing his opening lap now, and he gets right down close to that double yellow line, and that will put him 13th on the leaderboard right now. Mason Thompson in the 81 Chevrolet, just cooling down here in the number 81 Taco Bell Chevrolet Camaro, and he's going to sit pole position right now, hoping David Simcox can get a little bit better than 13th. But, at a track like Daytona, especially because, quite frankly, the cliche is not lost here, where this is anybody's race from start to finish, as plate racing and drafting, as we do have them here, really does open the field to so many different people.
This is one of those tracks where qualifying really isn't a big deal. I mean, obviously, some of these guys would want to be either in the front or the back. But here, so long as you can be in the draft, you've got a shot, really. So, sorry, lost my train of thought there. But
that's okay.
So long as you can be in the draft, you're generally going to be in with a shot at a really good finish and hopefully even a win.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the keys here, of course, at Daytona International Speedway is keeping it clean, and so often we wind up, seeing that big one break out. But right now tonight, 15 cars are slated to start here. Just 2 have not come out for their qualifying effort in Casey Duncan and Matthew Johnson. And actually, Casey Duncan now the only driver not to come out and qualify in the number 17 Toyota Camry. And Matthew Johnson finishing that first lap nets himself P14. But you have to figure, especially in a situation like this, I mean, we're primarily going to be seeing, basically that first lap is still not up to full speed. And, these, no matter how quick they are, these next-gen cars still not up to full speed after that first lap. So let's see what happens here with Matthew Johnson the rest of the way on this qualifying attempt, as he is the last driver, it appears, to make the attempt. And looks like Matthew Johnson jumping all the way up to 7th position after being last. So now just waiting for Casey Duncan. Just an absolute beautiful view here at Daytona International Speedway. I mean, with that lake there on the backstretch, I mean, this 2.5 miles is going to be 2.5 miles of excitement tonight. We're at 80. We're at 80 laps this evening here at Daytona. There will be a stage break at lap number 25. And, quite frankly, with a 50% fuel load, we're going to see a lot of green flag stops, assuming that we don't have the big one break out early, Michael.
Yeah, definitely. I don't remember what the fuel range is. But yeah, they're definitely, at least in that second stage, going to have to have a stop at least once in there. And they probably would want one for tires anyway.
And we're going to step aside for just 1 second while I do a little bit of research here. We will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Just trying to put some information together here for you folks, and looks like we're going to have 4 changes of tires over these 80 laps and 1 fast repair available. So as we're waiting now with about 1 minute 18 seconds left in qualifying, looks like the only driver, as mentioned, going to be Casey Duncan. So, Michael, what are you looking here for from each of these drivers as far as keeping it in line? I mean, you know, these setups basically all identical. You know, how do you like generally when you're in the draft? Do you like that big steering ratio, or do you like it a little tighter?
I like to keep it tighter where it's not moving around on me as much as in the draft, I wanted it to keep it as stable as I can possibly can, because it's just a little bit of a upset. These things can go on you. Not quite as bad as the older gen cars, but still can be tough to handle.
Oh, trust me, in the draft, these things are a bear to handle. And, you know, one thing that we do want to take a look at here tonight, of course, is our race information. Right now we have a temperature of 97 degrees for this 2.5 mile oval here in South Florida. 71 degrees is your air temperature, 97 your track temperature. So that'll keep things pretty slick and moving pretty well. Just 36% humidity, so nice and comfortable there in the stands for the fans. So after we go these 80 laps, we will see who comes out on top here. Looks like right now we do have the cars beginning to grid here on pit road. We'll take a look at the starting grid. And you can see that starting grid brought to you by W Energy. W Energy, of course, a proud sponsor of the MENRL. And Mason Thompson going to come home with that pole award for the evening with Chris Isaacs on the outside of row number 1. Row number 2 going to be made up of Dylan Herviton in the number 36 Blue Oval Ford, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts with the number 52 Harley Davidson Blue Oval Ford Mustang on the outside of row number 2. Row number 3 is Ryan Douglas in the number 11 Toyota Camry with Richard Mandonka in the number 46 Skyline Steel Ford Mustang. A lot of Fords in the field tonight so far, Michael, with Matthew Johnson on the inside of row number 4 in the 61 machine. Then his Ford partner on the outside, Richard Hurst in the number 76. Row number 5, Charles Blankenship and Richard Rico, David Simcox Jr. and Steve Waldrop in row number 6. Row number 7, and starting row number 7 made up of Steve Waldrop and Casey Duncan, starting shotgun on the field in P15 for SBRN in the number 21 Ford Mustang, going to be Jeremy Robbins. So a nice showing for all of the manufacturers tonight for these 15 cars as they're going to be coming down the back stretch. And quite frankly, Michael, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to see these guys. Like I said earlier, put on a good show.
We see them out here on the parade lap. And we see the iRacing.com pace car lights are out on that Ford Mustang. So that means that these drivers, they're getting ready. They're getting maybe a little nervous as they come through the backstretch here out of turn 4. We see them in the middle of turn 4. We're getting ready to see them come down toward the exit here. Drivers getting ready. Check the belts one more time. Get that visor down. Get the knuckles right up there at 10 and 2 on that steering wheel. Ladies and gentlemen, call some friends, grab some popcorn, and settle in, because we're about to have green flag racing here at Daytona International Speedway. The green flag waves from the man in the stand, and we are underway in the MENRL season opener at Daytona International Speedway. Mason Thompson rolling down here, leading the field on the high side, dragging along Dylan Herviton, who's giving him a nice push. I can't even really say dragging right now, Michael, as everybody trying to get in line. Whoa! Looks like Herviton goes down to the low side as he and Mason Thompson lead the field down the backstretch, Michael.
Yeah, these guys definitely just trying to feel out where the lines are going to be, looks like, and just get settled in here these first few laps.
I completely agree. I mean, the first few laps are going to be crucial, especially as these drivers are going to be getting up to speed. We see Mason Thompson, Dylan Herviton, Ryan Douglas, Matthew Johnson, Richard Hurst, everybody single file through Richard Mendonca back here in 7th position, and it pretty much stays that way as well, as we can see the cars coming down the back stretch now. Oh, we've got action here on the back stretch. Not sure who that's going to be, but it looks like it's going to be involving maybe Jeremy Robbins and definitely Steve Waldrop in the number 20 Yahoo Toyota Camry, as he is getting himself righted again. We'll take a look. And we're going to watch what happens here. Looks like Steve Waldrop in the number 20, maybe just as he was coming down that back lane. We'll take a look from this camera perspective. As we see the 14 and the 20 side by side, the 14 just comes down, gets a little loose there out of turn 2. The 14 able to scoot away, but the 20, the only affected car, what appears to be at least, here in the first caution of the night.
Yeah, looked like kind of really unlucky there to me. You know, you just kind of two guys going for the same spot. I said, noticed Casey Duncan there in the 17 just barely missed hitting both of them actually while trying to avoid that wreck.
Oh, without a doubt. And, you know, a lot of times here, you know, you don't usually just have to look like 1 or 2 cars in front of you. You're basically looking 5 and 6 cars in front of you. And, you know, obviously Casey Duncan had the foresight. We see some drivers coming down pit road early on here. Ryan Douglas, Bill English, Casey Duncan, Charles Blankenship, Jeremy Robbins, and, of course, Steve Waldrop, who was involved in that wreck. Not even sure what they're coming down for. Is I don't see the 11 taking anything except for what appears to be fuel.
Yeah,
the 11 will take off.
Yeah, my guess is going to be they're trying to get just make sure they got enough fuel to make it to the stage break. And I'm not sure if these guys get forward stage points, but you know, I guess they want to maximize their position beginning of the second stage, when all the rest of these guys, I would assume, were going to come into pit.
Absolutely, and let's get that ticker rolling up here. There she is. And we'll start keeping an eye on the running order this evening as we are on lap 4 of 80, working our way toward lap number 25 at Daytona International Speedway. We're under caution, of course, from Steve Waldrop and the 14 of Charles Blankenship getting into it back there at the rear of the pack. And in the rear they are right now, as we do see Steve Waldrop obviously trying to get some repair done. Doesn't really want to burn his fast repair early, as, you know, one of the things here, Michael, of course, is that the track is just so big. You can get a lot of repair done realistically without having to do very much.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the benefits. You know, you can get, you know, maybe a minute and a half worth of repairs done before you got to go back out on the field or out on the track to keep from getting lapped. And yeah, with the nature of these races now, it seems like it's a lot easier to get a lap back anyway. With the free pass, and you don't have to do like Bill Elliott and gain 2 laps under green anymore. Not that any of these cars could by themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Michael, one of the things here, of course, is always just trying to get yourself, lined up and in the best position, for that best finish that you can get. And I mean, with 5 laps in of 80, I mean, there's a long way to go yet tonight.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And the biggest problem for me, especially if I've gotten caught up into some early thing, is just getting back in a good rhythm and staying out of more trouble. Just seems like the more things happen, they just keep going and going and going until your race is completely ruined, and it's not really anybody's fault.
Absolutely agreed. We see the man in the stand with the green flag in his hand. The iRacing.com pace card goes down pit road. They enter the Geico restart zone, and we are back underway on lap number 6 of 80 at Daytona International Speedway. We see Mason Thompson here in the number 81 Taco Bell ding Chevrolet Camaro leading the pack down the field. Takes the low side, as that's going to be your fast line. Ooh, Matthew Johnson stepping out a little bit as he thinks he can make the run. He's got quite a run here on the 81. Your new race leader going to be Matthew Johnson, but right now he needs a push from the 36. The 36 bumps the heck out of him. That's a heck of a move right there from Dylan Hervenden. I've seen Hervenden race before, and this driver right here, he is great here on the Super Speedway. And that Advanced Auto Parts Ford Mustang pushing the 61 car of Matthew Johnson down into the tri-oval here, back through the Geico restart zone. This is going to be the partnership we're going to watch all night, Michael.
Yeah, no, these guys definitely got to be on the same page, because if you get bumped just a little bit wrong, it's going to upset the car and could send you spinning. And with these guys up in the front, that'll take out half the field at least. Something they definitely don't want to do.
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, this is still very early in this race. Right now, Dylan Hervenden leads the pack here with Richard Mandonka in P2. Running in third is Chris Isaacs, Richard Hurst in fourth, and rounding out the top 5 is Richard Rico in the number 18 Toyota Camry. And I'll tell you what, those top 5 right here, we can see Richard in the TJ's team, number 18 Toyota Camry. That top 5, all nice single file and tight, just about the same amount of distance between each of them, and nothing more than where Hervenden has a little bit of an edge. But right now we see going into turn 3, the 3 car of Chris Isaacs getting ready to take that Earnhardt line there on the high side, getting a push from the 46 and the 18, 76 and the 18, excuse me. And Dylan Hervenden thinking that this is like the Gen 6 car and able to sling it back up there to hold off the line and get that momentum. He has the right idea tonight, Michael.
Yeah, I guess, some people, I guess, just like leading. I'm not really one of those in one of these tracks. But, definitely got to be really confident to be pulling off those moves and blocking these lines.
Absolutely. Your race leader right now, Chris Isaacs, driving the number 3 Chevrolet Camaro, the pride of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. But I'll tell you what, right now it looks like he's going to have to cede that away to the 36 yet again of Dylan Hervinen, as they are going to be side by side coming out of the tri-oval, diving into turn one. These drivers, I'll tell you what, all 15 of them out on track right now are incredible to watch here. I mean, you know, it's almost like this is the perfect amount of cars to see on a track, you know, here, of course, at, why will that not go away? There it goes. Wow. The 76 and the 3 just nose to tail, as now the 3 car bumps into the 19. Looks like Chris Isaacs has decided to shuffle back. Now, when approximate, now, you know, Michael, we are at 50% fuel. So are you thinking fuel consumption early on in the race, or are you thinking burn it out because everybody's going to burn it out?
Honestly, I'm kind of trying to just gauge what it is and how far we can go. So maybe later on in the race, I can make a call of whether I can make it on fuel at some point or not. So you know, I'm definitely just looking and seeing, you know, if I do this, how much am I saving? So, you know, I definitely would be content just hanging around the back of the pack, just trying to stay there as long as I possibly could, save as much gas as I can.
Taking a look now from the front bumper of Richard Mandonka, who is hot on the tail of Dylan Hervinen. Hervinen not willing to give it up easy. And we can see just the amount of distance between the 36 and the 46, as now we're going to look back here at Mandonka. Don't look now, but right now it appears we're going to have a challenger here on the outside, as Mandonka going to be giving Hervinen a bump, and that outside line trying to get themselves organized. But look, there is an about-to-be lapped car there, and I believe that to be the 17 of Casey Duncan. Duncan going to hold up the outside line, take that momentum away, as Duncan does the very best to get out of the way, but they are now 3 wide getting around Casey Duncan. As Duncan goes down a lap, your race leader, Richard Mandonka, as he's getting a push from Mason Thompson and the number 81 Taco Bell Chevrolet Camaro here. The 36 of Dylan Hervinen still working around here on the top side. That's one strong Ford Mustang tonight, and these drivers not even ready to think about blinking. Dylan Hervinen, of course, right out of Bradford, Pennsylvania. Michael, here's tonight's first useless information trivia question. You ready?
Yeah, I guess.
What world-famous item is manufactured in Bradford, Pennsylvania?
I've got nothing, because the only thing I can think of manufactured in Pennsylvania at the moment is Hershey's chocolate, and that's in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Absolutely. Hershey chocolate is made in Derry Township, or Hershey, Pennsylvania. However, in Bradford, Pennsylvania, that is the home of Zippo.
Okay.
So if you've ever lit a cigarette, cigar, or, you know, I mean, not that we're encouraging tobacco use, but we do have a driver from Winston-Salem. I'm sure there's been more. I'm sure Chris Isaacs knows a lot about the Zippo lighters, of course, being from Winston-Salem. Not that Winston-Salem's known for anything that would require a lighter, no?
Yeah.
These are the jokes, folks.
Definitely not.
Folks, if you're just joining us on YouTube.com, welcome in. I'm Dave Riegel alongside my broadcast partner tonight, Michael Self. You are watching the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League on ESPN. Make sure that you're subscribing, turning on those bell notifications so you can be notified every time ESPN goes live, as we have several shows throughout the week, and we will get to those later. Make sure that you're giving us a shout in the live chat to let us know who you're pulling for. Triple R3R says, let's go. So I guess he's just excited to be here tonight. Southern Broadcast Racing Network says, let's get it, guys. And Richard Hurst says he's calling the number 76 for the win. Not sure how that's going to go right now. Right now, the 76, Richard Hurst. Oh, he's cheering for himself. But Richard Hurst running in second position right now. And Kevin Oldenburg is hollering out here for the the 20 car of Steve Waldrop, and Waldrop has worked himself back up into 8th position after that kerfuffle earlier. And right now, Richard Hurst dropping back to 4th as he is going to be the pushing partner here for these leaders. And, you know, at this point, you don't even have to be driving full throttle as the 46 Skyline Ford Mustang driven by Richard Mandonka is going to be your race leader. I mean, Michael, we have seen several race leaders tonight, and this is like perfect choreography, if you will.
Yeah, these guys all definitely at least comfortable racing with each other, which is, you know, good to see. Sorry.
Curtis Ecker and David Simcox down pit road here, looking like they are going to get their tires and fuel, and both drivers coming off of pit road, making their way out, as I guess they decided they wanted to come in a little early before the stage break, as we are on lap number 17, working our way toward lap number 25. Of course, with 4 changes of tires, 5 total, you can basically change tires every 20 laps, or in this case, 17 and 18 laps. And it looks like Curtis Ecker and David Simcox both went off track here. We'll see what might have happened. As, yep, looks like David Simcox just kind of got loose on those cold tires coming through. Unfortunately, that may give the 19 car an unsafe pit exit. Oh, the 19 just hopping it over that walkway out there in the middle of turn 2. And sounds like the 81 going to be pitting now too. So the 81, the 36, looks like we're about to have some wholesale green flag pit stops.
Yeah, you know, these guys definitely want to make sure they get their cars slowed up. I know from experience, you speed in the pits, it's going to be quite a long wait, and you're going to be really annoyed at yourself by the end of it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm pretty sure anybody who's ever raced here at Daytona International Speedway has experienced that more than once. You know, where you come down, especially in a green flag situation, you know, a lot of times there's enough cautions here, but you come down to that green flag situation, you'll either smoke the tires or die trying to get slowed up here. As looks like Steve Waldrop and Richard Rico going to come down together. That'll cycle Jeremy Robbins to the point as the SBRN number 21 Ford Mustang is going to take the lead. And can't see who that was just in front of him. That would be the 19 car of Curtis Ecker getting his lap back. I believe we're going to see Robbins come down as maybe he took some ill-thought advice as far as staying out, because now he's not going to come out with a drafting partner.
Yeah, that's definitely a no-no. The speed difference is with and without a draft is just huge here, and even when they come up behind you and pass you, it's hard to catch, join back on the tail end if you do get lapped.
Taking a look here at Ryan Douglas in the number 11 with his teammate in the 17 on the high side. Looks like they're going to be running right now with Richard Mandonka and Dylan Hervin, of course, 2, 3, and 4. And quite frankly, we're early enough in this piece where it doesn't really matter where you're running at the moment. I mean, you know, these 4 drivers obviously going to have that speed cranked all the way up. As Jeremy Robbins still out here. Whoa! Jeremy Robbins still out here. Now up 13 positions. And just trying to see who Robbins might be around. And honestly, doesn't look like a whole lot of anybody.
Yeah, it looks like he's got the 61 and the 19 there with him. So. My guess is he's just trying to make it to the stage break. Was he one of the ones that came in during that first pit or that first caution?
Robbins, yes, he had come in on lap number 3, so he should be getting ready to come in. He may be trying to hold out for the end of the stage, which could get him bonus points, which would make sense as to why he's holding on the way that he is. I mean, right now, Jeremy Robbins up 13 positions. Whoa! In the number 21 SBRN, and I believe SBRN would be out here for the Southern Broadcast Racing Network. So our colleagues over there, glad to have them out here racing and supporting what we're doing here. And basically at this stage of the game, I'm thinking Robbins has to come in right now. We can look here at the pit strategy and his stint length, and he is out here longer than everybody else.
Yeah, no, he is diving in.
Here he comes. He might be, I mean, he's coming in pretty controlled, so he might even be coming in on empty. And he missed his pit box, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time. That will cycle Dylan Herviton up here to P number 1, as Richard Mandonka going to be pushing him around here through the tri-oval. We're on lap number 24 of 80. Of course, now that will end. Oh, we see the 21 trying to get back underway here, but he is obviously going to be put a lap down by the time he gets all the way back around. Herviton and Mandonka going to lead this piece around. These two drivers all kinds of tied up. And it looks like Robbins is going to desperately try here to hold on, but I don't think he's going to have the momentum to get sucked back up to the rear of Richard Rico and Mason Thompson. If he does, this is going to be the move of the race to stay out the way that he did, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely a huge risk. You know, he's going to hope he can get back up to speed here. Or just catch that stage caution just right. And I'm thinking, looking at this, he's got a good shot at staying on the lead lap, just because he was so far ahead of everybody else because of their pit stops.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, right now, Jeremy Robbins running in P6 right behind Richard Hurst and Steve Waldrop. He's hanging on with them, and you got to keep in mind, he's got the fresher tires of the two of those drivers. So here, coming into the final portion of the stage, he may even wind up in 4th instead of 6th, but it looks like he just doesn't have the momentum he needs to get around Hurst and Waldrop in the 20 and the 76. But you know what? To be that far ahead, come out with basically no drafting partner, it's almost like someone whispered in Jeremy's ear to come down when he did. As they cross the start-finish line, we should see that stage caution come out, and there it is. Your stage results are Dylan Herviton wins stage 1 here in the number 36 Ford Mustang, followed by Richard Mandonka, Richard Rico, Steve Waldrop, Richard Hurst, Jeremy Robbins in 6th, Chris Isaacs in 7th, Matthew Johnson in 8th, Curtis Ecker in 9th, and Ryan Douglas rounds out your top 10 here at the end of stage number 1. And in fact, it even sounds like Ryan Douglas may be having some kind of mechanical failure. Not real sure yet, but so far, congratulations to Dylan Herviton of Bradford, Pennsylvania, the home of Zippo and Dylan Herviton. And right now, we're going to try to get a hold of Dylan Herviton from the number 36. Oh, I do not have permissions to do that, so give me 1 second here.
Penske, getting there.
Hey, Dylan, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth.
I got you. What's up, man?
Yes, we do.
Hey, man, listen, congratulations on that stage win, brother. I mean, listen, you had this machine cranked up all the way. How's that number 36 Advanced Auto Parts Mustang feeling?
It feels pretty good, especially since I got my Dylan Herberton Racing teammates behind me. Car feels really good. I just want to get some tires on it, make it drive a little bit easier. But yeah, we practiced pit road entry pretty good, and it paid off there, and that's what helped us get 1-2 in the stage there. So.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you had the 21 of Jeremy Robbins there, basically right out in front of you. You guys definitely held him off, but he's kind of like a crazy pirate when it comes to pit strategy, as he gambled and won. Yeah,
I mean, it was a little crazy because I was sitting here like, all right, I think the stage is coming to an end, and the 21 car hasn't pitted yet. So I was really questioning what was going on and how he did it, but overall, just happy to be where we're at, and hopefully we can finish this off here in about 60 laps.
Absolutely. Listen, Dylan, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And listen, we were talking earlier. Of course, you're from Bradford, Pennsylvania, and we don't have to tell you. We know that you know that that's where Zippo is made. But you were the topic of tonight's trivia question here on the broadcast.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Good to know. And yeah, it's cool that somebody actually knows something from my hometown. So well, I mean, yeah, maybe I'll have to make a Zippo car and put it in victory lane one of these races.
Oh my God, that'd be great. Listen, you have to look. There's a book out there called Pennsylvania First. By the way, full disclosure, I live 15 minutes outside of Philadelphia.
Okay.
There's a book out there called Pennsylvania First. Back in the day, there was a Woody wagon. It was a Chevrolet, and they had 2 dual lighters that came out the top of it. It was a promo from Zippo. You got to look that up. You got to get that here on your car.
Oh yeah, I can do something. There's endless possibilities with what I can do here with these race cars.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, listen, good luck for stage 2, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
That was Dylan Herberton, winner of stage number 1, as he is all cranked up. And Michael, I'll tell you what, from that interview, I'm thinking Dylan Herberton is definitely drinking the old W energy. He talked faster than an auctioneer on coffee.
Yeah. I listened into a little bit of that. Definitely seemed pretty hyped up there.
I mean, hey, you get a stage win here at the most famous racetrack in motorsports. I'd be pretty pumped too.
Yeah. So, always nice to do something well. Always nice to do well at Daytona, that's for sure.
Well, one of the things here that we always see at Daytona, especially, early on in a season, and in this case, very first part of the season, is, there's a lot of guys with some nerves going on, but these fellas out here on the track tonight, they're looking nice and calm.
Definitely. I don't know how many races these guys have had together, but definitely looks like they're all pretty comfortable racing against each other. Pretty much seem to know what the other person's going to do, which is always a plus at these super speedways.
Richard Rico going to bring everybody back down here through the trioval. Rico, Hurst, Isaacs, Herberton, Ecker, Mandonka, Waldrop, Douglas, Robbins, Simcox Jr. going to be your top 10 as they come down through into the entrance of the trioval. The pace car dives down pit road. Rico hits the Geico restart zone. The man in the stand with the green flag in his hand waves it wildly as the light goes. And we are back underway for stage number 2 at Daytona International Speedway. Richard Rico leads the pack through turn number 1, but don't look now. Richard Hurst, driver of the number 76, cheering himself on in our live chat. We've got cars hitting the wall. It's a little bit scary, but we stay under green as everybody's still pointed forward. Drivers getting back into the draft. This could be dangerous. It's almost like a mixing bowl still rolling forward in green flag conditions as Herman and Hurst, Rico and Robbins lead the field here in the top 4. The next group of cars, of course, is Steve Waldrop, Ryan Douglas, and Matthew Johnson in their Toyotas. And, you know, I got to be honest with you, folks, there's a pretty decent mix tonight of manufacturers in this race. I mean, you know, you can see here on the ticker atop your screen, it's not like it's Ford heavy or Chevy heavy or Chevy heavy. I didn't try that on purpose. But, or even Toyota top heavy. You know, there's a pretty good mix of manufacturers here tonight, Michael.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I've noticed. And you know, I've caught several of the ESPN broadcasts and other leagues. Seems like Toyotas aren't nearly as represented as the rest in a lot of leagues, and it's nice to see several guys out there running running the Toyotas, even if I am not a big fan of the manufacturer.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you know, there's actually a league that we have on a Sunday night here that sometimes it seems like everybody's got a Toyota. But tonight, overall, pretty well spread out. Folks, one thing that we always want to make sure that we take care of is keeping an eye on what's what here. And if you just give me one moment, we'll at least be able to get a hold of our schedule here. Now, keep in mind that here on a Monday night is the cleanracing.net racing series at 8:30 p.m. Then Tuesdays, this is the big day. This, of course, you know, here we are tonight. Now, we do have the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League. Of course, that's tonight at 9. Also, on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m. is the All-American Racing League. The AARL is at 8 p.m. right here on YouTube.com. Also at 9 o'clock, usually where you can find me, is the Rick Motek Cup Series at 9 p.m. That is hosted by myself and Mr. Tony Trapasso on a regular basis. But tonight, doing some special fill-in work here for the MENRL. Then also tonight, your nightcap is going to be the Western States Racing League. They are in season number 47, as they've been together now for 23 and a half years on the between iRacing.com and Papyrus. So definitely a legacy league there. Wednesday nights, we have a doubleheader between the Thunderclap Stock Cars Series at 8:30 p.m. and also at 8:30 p.m. is the Ghost Cup Series. And Ghost is always an exciting league to watch. Now, Thursday, we do have slots available. It seems like we are just completely off on a Thursday, which is, you know, sometimes nice, but definitely leaves an empty feeling in you when you look at the schedule. The Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series takes off on a Friday evening at 8:30 p.m. with the Monsters of Speed Racing League at 8:30 p.m. also on a Friday. Saturdays, we usually leave that open for one-time shows, fundraisers, things like that you folks want to throw up here on the iRacing.com servers. And then we have a doubleheader on Sundays with the ISNF Sunday Night Fever Cup Series at 5 p.m. And then your nightcap in prime time is the Davis Brothers Roofing Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series right here on ESPN. So, Michael, there's a lot to watch on the ESPN channel on YouTube.com. And make sure, if you are watching us on YouTube right now, that you're giving us a thumbs up, subscribing, and turning on those bell notifications so that anytime we're live, that can show up there in your YouTube feed because, man, there's a lot of entertainment.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I could say it boggles my mind every time I hear you guys mention that those Western States guys have been at this for over 20 years on various platforms.
I'll tell you what. Now, the Western States League, and I had the privilege of that was my very first show when I came to work for ESBN and SRM. And I got to be honest with you, Michael, they are such a cool group of people. You don't hear anybody screaming or yelling on the radio. And I mean, the I ratings, you know, their usual suspects atop the pile, their top 5, there's not an I rating that's below 3,500. You know, and they race in fixed setups, and it's great racing, great camaraderie. Their sponsor over there, Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking, Dean the Fog Crawler, and Joni the Teardrop Nanny are just super people to work with and work for. So, yeah, Michael, I mean, that's a heck of a truck league. And folks, right now, as we have a few moments, we are going to step aside and pay some bills here. But don't worry, you won't miss a moment of racing as we are going to go side by side on ESBN.
Drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field works its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Well, oh, they're wrecking! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the left coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Dave Regal and Michael Self. Oh, the 20 car just bit the wall. Steve Waldrop in the Yahoo Toyota Camry. Dave Regal and Michael Self with you here in the ESPN broadcast booth. I'm coming to you live from the Conshohocken, Pennsylvania studios here. And I'll tell you what, Michael, we have seen some great racing here in the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League opening night here at Daytona. What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, these guys all definitely have a better setup than I had, at least in my race a couple weeks ago. And a lot better luck apparently. But
you know, sometimes I think the worst thing is when you get one of those setups, and I don't know, do you build your own or do you buy one?
Some friends and I, we were working on the setup for it. So, but I think based off of one of the subscription setups, but I don't remember what we used for that one.
Yeah, I know. I had a setup one time from a setup shop online. I don't want to talk trash in public about them, but I had bought it, and put it in the car because, you know, I work a 40-hour work week. I don't have time to sit and tinker, you know, which I wish I did. In fact, a very good friend of mine is becoming a pretty good setup builder in his own right. But it was great when you had somebody pushing you from behind, but I could not for the life of me draft up and push anybody with any kind of success.
Yeah, that seems to be about what happened to me. But looks like you know, all these guys on, you know, they're able to keep it pretty close to each other, and I haven't seen anybody really lose a draft completely.
Absolutely, and it sounds like we should be having some wholesale pit stops coming, as most of these drivers, in fact, from every lead lap driver came in last on lap number 27. Bill English came in on lap 24, and I believe there's still one original set of tires out on the racetrack, as we're on lap 44 of 80 here in the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League opening night at Daytona International Speedway. And looks like David Simcox Jr. and Steve Waldrop, along with Bill English, all coming in for fuel and tires right now, as wholesale pit stops are going to begin. And, you know, something so interesting here now, we have a 50% fuel load, so things are definitely going to get hairy when it comes to fuel management.
Yeah, definitely. Says I think, you know, they're getting right around that point where, you know, with the right amount of management, they might be able to make it.
Oh, I completely agree. And right now, your race leader, Richard Hurst, last coming down on lap 27. And when he came down on lap 27, looks like he had only gotten fuel along with Richard Rico. So those drivers definitely going to be thinking about taking tires this time. And Richard Hurst, his spotter calling down to him saying, pit this time, pit this time. So we're going to watch your race leader in the number 76 come down for Mr. Feelgoods and a tank of Go Fast, as we just saw the 3 car of Chris Isaacs kind of wash up a little bit here toward the 17, but now the 76 looks like the 76, the 18 of Richard Rico, Ryan Douglas, Matthew Johnson, Jeremy Robbins, and Dylan Hervenden all coming down pit road together as they are racing each other. In fact, you can see the 3 and the 20, the 3 and the 18 side by side back here. Chris Isaacs, although he's not on the lead lap, trying to stay with those lead lap cars in the event that a caution comes out. Dylan Hervenden comes in running P1. And we had just spoken to him a moment ago. He gets fuel only. Just a quick little stop here, so no Mr. Feelgoods for him. Looks like the only driver so far to come and get those 4 tires is going to be Richard Rico. So we're going to watch him pretty closely now, Michael, as we should start to see his car outperform those others that did not take fresh rubber.
Yeah, and you know, like I say, watching that, Hervenden at 36 came in really hot there. But you know, hopefully it looked like it all worked out for everybody, so it's good. But
wholesale pit stops complete. Casey Duncan, the only driver not to come down here between lap 44 and 46, as Casey Duncan last came down on lap 36. So the 17 car may be able to stay out a little while longer, but still down 2 laps here, as Dylan Hervenden becoming kind of the Pied Piper of Daytona International Speedway, as we're going to see here the gap that he's starting to lay down with just about a second and a half to Richard Hurst, and Ryan Douglas looking to give Hurst a bump here onto the straightaway, as they're going to try to bump their way all the way up to Dylan Hervenden. Let's watch this kind of artwork as we're going to see the 11 draft right up to the rear of Hervin, and he gives him the bump. Oh, my goodness, that was perfectly timed as they go into turn 3. That'll loosen up the 76, but Richard able to hold on to it as they draw closer and closer in on Dylan Hervin. And now looks like the 76 gets the run. My goodness, as they cross the start-finish line here for lap number 49, and now lap number 49, I'm sorry. Your new race leader is Richard Hurst in the number 76, as he was able to get around Dylan Hervin with relative ease as he was pushed along by Matthew Johnson and got the push from Ryan Douglas.
Yeah, a really good demonstration there of the difference in speed between guys in the draft and guys by themselves. There is really big closing speed those 3 cars in the draft had on Hervin and coming up there.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick look here. If I can, my goodness, all of a sudden I can't seem to find the right camera angle, and we're going to go right here to the starter cam, and maybe we'll get a better look here as they were side by side coming through the tri-oval, and we just see the 76 able to blow the doors off the 36 of Dylan Hervin, as he had the run. That's all there is to it. A lot of times here at Daytona, once you get that run, there's nothing stopping you.
And seems like a lot of times it's a lot safer to take that run than it is to try and not take it. Even if you may not want to particularly be in front at that particular point, you just got to go ahead and take the run you've got.
Absolutely. Taking a look right now at Steve Waldrop in the number 20 Yahoo.com Toyota Camry. He's chasing down David Simcox and the 52 car of Bill English. Now, of course, English not on the lead lap, but he's at least hanging on tight there. As at this point, Bill English, the first car 1 lap down, so he would be your lucky dog. So obviously, he's trying to hold on for dear life in the Harley Davidson Ford Mustang. And the 22, kind of the meat in this 20 and 52 sandwich, as they roll through turns 3 and 4 back toward the front stretch. And I'll tell you what, right now looks like the 52 able to hold his own.
Yeah, definitely. I think he just ended up a lap down because of strategy and might have gotten caught up in something, but he definitely looks like if you can get that lap back, you can get contend for top 5 at least.
Oh, he definitely is a top 5 car tonight. And speaking of the top 5, let's make a run through here. Richard Hurst, Matthew Johnson, Dylan Hervin, and Ryan Douglas, and David Simcox Jr. in the 22. Your top 5. So David Simcox Jr. here in the number 22 Auto Trader Ford Mustang, holding his ground here between the 52 and the 20. And, with here on lap number 53, just under 30 laps to go now in this piece, I mean, you're going to start to see him hold that line, not go anywhere, because there's no reason to get all bent out of shape with just under 30 laps to go. And we see there must have been a problem here with Curtis Ecker. We're going to take a look back and see what happened. Oh, my. Interestingly enough, the 19 car, and we see that front left wheel obviously snapped off as he pulled harmlessly down into the grass. The 19 car obviously able to, keep from getting sideways or turned around on the racetrack. So we are still under green here at Daytona International Speedway, and we are going to step away and take just one quick moment here to pay some bills from our good friends at Sim Racing Media.
drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field worked its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
Some amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Well, oh, the rocket! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the left coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Whoop, that is the wrong feed. Stand by, folks. That's better. 24 laps to go here at Daytona International Speedway in the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League. And Dave Regal alongside my good friend and my partner, Michael Self. Michael, heck of a race here for your first time out and around tonight.
Hey, yeah. And, you know, these guys, it's like you got a couple of distinct groups of leaders that, you know, we should be coming up here on some more pit stops shortly from what I was hearing. But, you know, we should be having a really good race coming down to the end here.
And they've been side by side for so much of the evening here. I mean, you know, 23 laps to go now. I mean, that first stage was 25 laps long, so we are now shorter than that first stage was. And Richard Hurst leads the pack here in the number 76 Ford Mustang. Matthew Johnson running in P2. Dylan Hervenden, your stage 1 winner in the 36. So, you know, 3 blue ovals up the top, and then 2 Toyotas here rounding out the top 5 with Ryan Douglas and Steve Waldrop, respectfully. And that is now Ryan Douglas and Richard Rico, as they're going to start exchanging positions with the 22 down on the apron.
And I guess that this second group right here, if they can you know, get more organized, they got a really good shot at catching those front 4. Looks like.
Absolutely, and oddly enough, this the second group that you're talking about is led by Mason Thompson, driver the number 81 Taco Bell Chevrolet Camaro. And, you know, Mason Thompson, originally our pole sitter this evening, you know, got himself into some trouble earlier on here in this race. Now running in 14th and down about 3 laps. And you'll see that right there in the top of your screen as he is down 3 laps and basically the last car running right now, as Charles Blankenship has been down on pit road since lap 27. Richard Hurst, though, your race leader. Folks, if you are just tuning in on YouTube.com, you're watching the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League, brought to you by W Energy. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications to the eSports Broadcasting Network. And you can go over there to w.gg and check out their offerings. Now, I've had a similar energy drink myself here in recent history, but W has a starter pack that's available for $14.99 that comes with a shaker cup, 3 flavors, and a random color shaker. So go ahead over there to w.gg. Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League, also brought to you by Admin Box, adminbox.com. If you've ever been a race admin, whether you're race control or what have you, sometimes trying to program those hotkeys onto your keyboard, or in my case, a Stream Deck. Some drivers use a piece of software and maybe a tablet. The admin box, that's admin box with 2 X's, the admin box absolutely takes all of the guesswork out of that, as everything that you possibly need is right there at your fingertips, and has all of those text commands. So go ahead over there to admin box, that's admin box with 2 X's.com, and check that out. There is a promo code that you can use, folks, and you use MENRL-BOXX for $19 off at checkout. So go ahead over there to adminbox.com and check that out. And Michael, I know we were talking off air before this race started, that you've just gotten a Stream Deck, and I'll tell you what, the admin box is a sharp looking piece of equipment.
Yeah, I was just looking at it, and yeah, definitely eye catching.
Don't get me wrong, my Stream Deck has its place for usefulness, but I'll tell you what, the admin box, it just looks sharp, and for me, anything shiny and flashy, I'm all over. Looks like the 36, the 61, the 76, and the 11 all coming down. Whoa! The 61 just bought the yellow cone and missed the pit entrance. That's going to cost him big time, as the extreme Ford Mustang just bought it coming onto pit road. He has got to be one frustrated driver. We're going to see. I hope he's able to get things rolling back over again, as he is going to have to fight his way back around this racetrack to get down there for some pit service. This should be the money stop for several of these drivers, if not all of them, moving forward, as Richard Hurst, Ryan Douglas, David Simcox Jr., Steve Waldrop, all able to come down on pit road and get that all-important money stop service. Dylan Hervenden now coming down in the number 36 Advanced Auto Parts Ford Mustang. He had a great pit strategy out there in stage number 1. We'll see if he can do it again. Last time he only took fuel, so maybe we'll see for these last 16 laps if he decides to come in for 4 tires too. We're waiting to see the right side of this car pop up. It doesn't. So it's looking like he is just going to be fuel only yet again.
I mean, tire wear isn't really a huge deal here, so not the worst thing to just take fuel on a green flag stop. Yeah, that was about all I had there. So.
Well, fair enough. Dylan Hervenden leads the pack yet again. He has a 4.2 second. Now it's slowly evaporating, but now a 3 second lead over Richard Hurst. We're going to start to see Hurst and Douglas close in on him. And quite frankly, I think the run that Hurst and Douglas are going to have coming up behind Dylan Hervenden, we're going to watch Richard Hurst now get ready to basically just truck him right over. Dylan Hervenden leads this piece up here in the number 36 Advanced Auto Parts Ford Mustang. Richard Hurst starting to close in now, quicker and quicker. We're going to take a look here at the battle box for the lead. You can start to see the way things are going to begin to evaporate. And closer and closer Hurst gets, and we're going to switch right over here onto his bumper. Look at this run that Hurst has coming to go around Hervenden. He just moves over to the right, takes the lead as if Hervenden wasn't even there, and your new race leader once again is Richard Hurst. I mean, he had a full head of steam coming through there, and Hervenden can't even be mad. Now he just has to really hope that he can draft up to the rear of Ryan Douglas, and we're going to start to watch and hopefully he can start to close in, and these three drivers begin to draft together. Just behind them, Richard Rico being pushed along by the 81. Of course, the 81, although he was our pole sitter, he is definitely being a good fellow driver out there, a good sport as far as, being the last car. He goes from being the first car in line at grid to the last car running on track, and, still being a great racer out there, pushing the 18 along, desperately trying to get him hooked up to Dylan Hervenden, but right now they're just kind of evenly matched. Moving through the field, running in P5 right now, David Simcox Jr. in the Double Deuce, sponsored by Auto Trader. He's got that Ford Mustang cranked up just behind the 52 of Bill English. Bill English, of course, down by a lap right now. Steve Waldrop running in 6th position right now in the Yahoo Toyota Camry. Matthew Johnson in the 61 car is followed by Jeremy Robbins running in 8th position right now. And Robbins, the last car on the lead lap in the number 21 machine.
Yeah, there's a about a 6-second gap between those that first three and that second pack. So they've got about 11 laps to catch them. So I'm not sure they can without a caution.
Not a caution, still under green.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think these guys can catch them without that those front three without a caution. But if it still should end up being a pretty good race for that between all of these guys, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Taking a look right here at your race leader, Richard Hurst, driving the number 76 Ford Mustang, the pride of Auburn, and I'm assuming that's the Auburn of the South, not the Auburn here in Pennsylvania. But Richard, or in New York for that matter. But right now, looks like he and Ryan Douglas, the pride of Wilmington, North Carolina, are going to be running 1 and 2 here, with Dylan Hervenden out of Bradford, Pennsylvania, lurking there in P3. And I got to be honest, right now, if I was Ryan Douglas, I'd be texting, DMing on Discord, whatever I had to do, send a smoke signal, Dylan Hervenden, because Hervenden has the chance here to finish P2 if he sticks behind Douglas, if Douglas wants to step out here in the closing laps of this race, as we are now 10 to go here at Daytona International Speedway here in beautiful Volusia County, Florida. And we're just a short hop, skip, and a jump away from the sands where NASCAR was basically born here on West International Speedway Boulevard. And, this 2.5 miles of asphalt was the brainchild, of course, of Big Bill France Sr. And, of course, he had developed 2 specific super speedways. Of course, this one here in Daytona Beach and the other being in Talladega, Alabama at 2.66 miles. So, here's the thing. In 1959, when they opened this speedway, that's 63 years ago, they were out here with bench seats, helmets with open faces, barely a seatbelt to speak of. As far as I was aware, it was more like a lap belt. And today, just such a different look here around this racetrack. And, this racetrack, of course, does have several different configurations. Of course, we know now here in NASCAR about the Daytona Road Course, which is kind of calls to the Charlotte Roval, if you will. And, of course, we've had some really important things over the years here in Daytona. Of course, the track record here for Cup Series is still held. Now, get this, for qualifying, the track record for speed is held by Bill Elliott, February 9th, 1987. He ran a lap time of 42.783 seconds with a speed of 210 miles an hour, Michael. and we are under caution.
Yeah, and for anybody that is on the service but hasn't, they do have those 1987 cars um, on iRacing now, and I've driven those at Daytona and Talladega, and those are scary fast.
Oh, you bet your boots they are.
To be going that fast, and that car's not planted at all. So
No, in fact, I'm so used to driving in these newer cars. By the way, we're watching here the 46 of Richard Mandonka, just absolutely buying it, getting turned around, and definitely looks like he's going to, if he hasn't already, going to have to burn that fast repair as the 21 driven by Jeremy Robbins, and he just happened to get together. And, I'd say it's probably a racing deal as we're pretty late here, and they're not exactly going for the lead. But anyway, go ahead with your thought there on the 87 cars, because, I always think it's interesting. I'm very used to holding the throttle wide open on these super speedways, and the 87, you really do have to lift, don't you, Michael?
yeah, you can get away with flooring it, but it can be scary. And to be consistent, you do need the lift, that's for sure. But with these cars, and for the last several generations, really since 1987, when they put restrictor plates on these cars, you could pretty much go full throttle without a problem around the track, so long as your engine held up.
Absolutely. Now, a couple of drivers coming down pit road here with now 6 laps to go. Steve Waldrop, Matthew Johnson, David Simcox Jr. all coming down pit road. Looks like most of them just got fuel, but Matthew Johnson and David Simcox Jr. both taking tires, it appears, as well as Jeremy Robbins in the number 21 Ford Mustang. So, going to be rather interesting as we enter here in the final stage of this race. And just before we do, we are going to step aside and pay some bills here under caution. You're watching ESBN on YouTube.com.
drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field works its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Oh, they're wrecking! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the left coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series.
Five laps to go here at Daytona International Speedway, Michael, and I believe we're about to see that final shot as the cars come through the 3-4 complex, getting ready to come onto the front stretch. looks like we're going to have quite a battle here to the end now.
Yeah, and definitely any plans they had, throw that out the window and come up with a new one.
Yeah, without a doubt, I am right there with you. We are going to step aside and we're going to turn it up right now so that here, as these cars are getting all cranked up, you can hear the awesome sounds of the power of these cars here in the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League. The 46 getting a little loose here, getting way too close. Oh! And now we've got the big one forming here. We stay green. Still green. Looking to see if the caution comes out. There it is. I believe that was a forward-thinking Agman, and we will go back here to see what happened with David Simcox Jr. a little further back, Michael, as it did kind of interrupt our turn it up segment, but obviously things have gotten a little bit different as we're here in the last couple of laps here of this race.
Yeah, I'm trying to see kind of what happened there.
Taking a look here at the 46. 46 there, right here in the middle of your screen. Of course, the darn camera angle suddenly doesn't want to work with me here. We're going to switch right here to our chopper cam, as it did get a good shot of this. We see the 46 getting below the yellow line, and when he came back up onto the racing surface, which was probably ill-advised, he gets and just starts that chain reaction, and wow, the 21 just got hammered.
Yeah, big hits there for the 21 and the 22 in that.
Well, that'll change things as we're about to go into NASCAR overtime at the conclusion of this caution. Now, keep in mind, folks, if this is the first time you're seeing the NASCAR overtime rule in effect, what'll happen is once the pace car dives off a pit road, the green flag will wave, and we will race around to catch the white flag. If something happens between the waving of the green flag and when the white flag comes out, that'll freeze the field, we'll restart, and we'll do it all over again. If the white flag does wave, the next flag will end the race, whether it's yellow or checkered. So right now, everybody going to kind of be holding their breath as we are going to go into green-white checker NASCAR overtime mode, Michael.
Yeah, and of note, these guys do have 3 total attempts at this, so they're all right. But yeah, they definitely want to keep it clean and finish it out. And I know Dylan Herverton there wants everything to happen behind him if anything does. It looks like he's raring to go there, trying to pass the pace car.
Absolutely, and I'm going to step aside and try to clean up some of the spam that has somehow gotten into our chat. This is one of the worst things about YouTube. Sometimes we just get these spam bots that come in here, so give me just a moment while I clean this up. Sorry about that, folks. Unfortunately, we are not immune to the nefarious folks on the internet here at ESBN, as we're just regular YouTube users like anybody else would be. So sometimes those spam bots get in there and make things a little ugly for us. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out. Your running order when they come back to the stripe will be Dylan Hervenden, Matthew Johnson in the number 61, Steve Waldrop in the number 20, Yahoo Toyota Camry, Ryan Douglas, Richard Rico, Richard Hurst, Bill English, and David Simcox Jr. Now, interestingly enough, Steve Waldrop, running right now in P3, had a dust-up earlier in the race. So, quite frankly, kind of redemption for him here, as that happened, my goodness, what seems like so long ago, with what happened with Steve Waldrop. I mean, that was all the way back on lap number 2. So, here we are as redemption is running near, as the iRacing.com pace car gets ready to dive down on pit road. These drivers getting all set. We can almost feel the tension as Hervenden think, whoa, the 17 under caution spins out of the way. He will stay moving forward. Hervenden enters the restart zone. We are going green here as they cross the start-finish line. 2 to go as they are going to race back to the white flag. Michael, this is for all the marbles.
Yeah. Looking back to see what happened to Casey Duncan.
We see the 52 of Bill English working the outside, getting a push from the 81. Look at that. That was perfectly timed as the 81 gives the 52 that bump that he needs, and the 81's going to come back for more as they come into the tri-oval past the entrance of pit road. They're in the tri-oval. Oh, the 52 gets turned by the 81. Just an ill-timed bump. My goodness. The white flag had already waved, so we are going to race back to the checkered flag. We are still under green technically as the white flag has come out. Dylan Hervenden, your race leader, being followed by Steve Waldrop in the 20 car. Bill English in the 52. Harley Davidson Ford Mustang trying to catch up. And we can see here, even on this last lap, 187 miles an hour into turn number 3 and 4, as the 20 pushing the rear of the 36. This is going to be dangerous. Watch, the 36 is going to get loose. The 20 is going to make the run to the outside. They come to the start-finish line side by side. The 20 takes the win over the 36 on the very last lap as they come through. The checkered flag waves, and Steve Waldrop, your race winner, over Dylan Hervenden. Bill English comes in 3rd, Richard Rico 4th, David Simcox Jr. in 5th, and Matthew Johnson finishing 6th. What an exciting finish. My goodness, we need to go back to that right now, Michael.
Really unfortunate that wreck happened. But wow, those two guys, right.
This is the move of the race. My goodness. Steve Waldrop gets that run on the 36 and makes the pass right at the start-finish line. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, looks like he had about half a car on him at the start-finish line, so insanely close there. 38 thousandths of a second is what showing that.
Steve Waldrop celebrating on the front stretch here at Daytona International Speedway. What a finish to the opening race of the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League as Steve Waldrop captures the checkered flag. He has absolutely earned this win tonight, as that last pass was something. It was definitely a thing of beauty, Michael. I mean, we've seen some great racing, and let's hop on down there to TJ's team and meet Steve Waldrop. Steve Waldrop, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, my brother?
Yeah, you got me.
Listen, man, I can't even begin to tell you what I just saw, because it was an absolute thing of beauty what you just did there on the last lap. I mean, you wind up, getting into a kerfuffle there on lap number 2. You're down laps. You have to get repaired, and you just drove all the way back up to the front to make the pass on the last possible second here to take the checkered flag at Daytona. How you feeling right now, man?
Dude, that was freaking awesome. I mean, definitely my first run here in this league, so I definitely appreciate it and the invite being here. But that was such a good run with the 36. I mean, I was sitting there and I was pushing, and he started to come across the bumper, so I was like, oh, crap, I don't want to turn him. I don't want to be that guy. So then I go up high, and I don't know where that came from, but absolutely awesome.
It was almost, you know what? It was almost as if the breath of God just pushed you around him, because I saw you getting on that left rear, and I'm thinking, oh, man, we're going to have a crash right before the start-finish line. And sure enough, it's like you moved up to the right, and it was like you were just pushed out of nowhere. It was amazing. I mean, how was that car feeling tonight overall, even after your earlier incident?
Yeah, I don't know what was up on that earlier incident. I was actually fortunate enough the whole race to never use the fast repair, so I had that just in case. But we were sitting there on the green-white checkered, and having my teammate Richard Rico behind me, I felt good in that sense. I knew I was protected. I knew I was going to be staying low, and then obviously everybody saw what happened behind us, and it was just kind of a two-man race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just a really great run tonight for you. You wind up in the rear, you come back up to the front. I mean, just a great run. Before we cut you loose, is there anybody that you'd like to thank and tip your helmet to for this run tonight?
I'd actually like to thank Richard Rico. I was looking for some racing tonight, told me that this was the season opener, and I think since I win, I got to hang around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it would kind of be rude, I guess. I think, in the words of Sheldon Cooper, social convention dictates you get your butt back here for next week too.
I look forward to it.
All right, brother. Well, listen, congratulations, and enjoy that win. Go out there and burn the rest of those tires off, and have a good night.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, Michael, we're going to head on down to Dylan Herveden in Dylan Herveden Racing and see if we can get a hold of him. Dylan Herveden, Dave Regal, and Michael Self up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you, man. What's going on?
Listen, really rough break there at the end of this here race, but what an amazing finish! I mean, of course, you can be mad and frustrated as you had dominated for so long, but what a wild pass there at the end, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I thought after I threw that final block off turn 4, that was kind of it, and I made a mistake because when he pulled to the outside and got a little bit of it wasn't a huge run. What I did is followed him up the track, and that ultimately allowed him to side draft me, which is what I'm looking at right now. So it's kind of frustrating, but overall, the number 36 was really good. Really happy to have a clean, solid day, no incidents. Pit road entries were really good. Team did well. I know that they didn't get the finishes they wanted, but we worked together really well, and yeah, I'm proud of everybody at Dale Herberton Racing, and hopefully, I know that the 36 will be a victory lane sometime this season. Just don't know when.
That's all right, man. Listen, that's the attitude to have here, especially, you're in week 1. It's the opening night. Next week you go to Atlanta, and, of course, New Atlanta drives a lot like this. So I'll tell you what, after that reimagination that they did, I think you're going to have all kinds of chances there at Atlanta.
Yeah, well, I think so. I mean, super speedway racing, I guess, style, since Atlanta isn't really a quote-unquote super speedway. The style of racing just always kind of suit my driving style, and I always find myself at the front here. Don't always finish there, but no, brought home a stage win and brought home second, so we can't be too mad about it. Just wish we were one spot up on the leaderboard and doing some burnouts on the front stretch.
Absolutely, man. Listen, before we cut you loose, anybody that you'd like to tip your helmet to thank for this night?
Oh, I just appreciate these guys for letting us come on in such short notice. It was kind of last minute thing. We decided that me and my teammates here at Dylan Herberton Racing, which I also want to thank again for their help, kind of came on last minute, and happy for them to allow us to jump on board here and race with them. Seems to be a pretty good league to compete in, so that should be fun. And yeah, just everybody at Dylan Herberton Racing, and you guys for putting on the broadcast. I appreciate you for knowing a little bit about my hometown. I might have to do something special for that now.
Hey, man, listen, glad to do it. And, every time I see somebody with the old Pennsylvania there in their driver info, I get a little excited because it's, listen, there's a reason that I'm a broadcaster at this point, and I don't race as much. I race one night a week, and I broadcast 4. So there's a reason for that, and it makes me proud to know that you're out there representing PA.
Oh yeah, PA, everybody at Dylan Herberton Racing. I want to thank Southern Airways Express. They'll be on my car a couple times this season, I'm sure. Just really thankful. Mokulele Airlines, can't forget them. Cessna, all really good. Happy for them to officially be on my iRacing car. Yeah, like I said, hopefully we'll see you in the same spot next week. Maybe just one spot ahead of where we're at.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations, and we will see you next week at Hotlanta. And, Michael, we are going to move along now up into the general chat and find Bill English, as Bill English here finishing P3 on the podium. Michael Self, I believe that you have him with you there in the booth, don't you?
Yes, I'm here.
I just hope to God that somebody
Bill English,
doesn't
Dave
tell me
Regal, and
that
Michael
I'm-
Self, guys in
that
the
I
Discord.
paused
If you
this shit.
guys in the Discord, if you could just give us a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Dave Regal and Michael Self up here in the broadcast booth. Bill English, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. Go ahead.
Hey, man, listen, congratulations on that P3 finish here on the podium. I mean, you were back pretty far in the pack for a while and managed to get all the way back up here onto the podium. How is that Ford Mustang handling for you tonight?
I love that Mustang in the draft, and if I can get hooked up with another Mustang, that's the only thing that's better. And I unfortunately got a black flag trying to get some fuel on the first caution, and they said I passed somebody, and I got a 30-second penalty in the pits, and that was hard to make up, but I'm very grateful to get a third.
Yeah, this has been quite a race tonight. I mean, listen, 15 of you take the green flag at the beginning of the race, and 14 of you finish. And, and of course, as you know, not as many of you finishing there on the lead lap, but man, you battled tonight. You earned this spot here on the podium. So anybody that you'd like to thank before we get out of here?
I'd like to thank Curtis Ecker for all the work he's done getting this thing together, and I want him to just hang in there because next week will be better, as Richard Petty used to famously say.
Absolutely. Remember, now keep in mind, I'm from Philadelphia, so there's always next year, there's always next week. That's what we've been saying for a century now.
Hey, I'm near Atlanta. Well, I was a Braves fan, so I know that. But trust me,
serious condolences.
Thank you very much.
Well, listen, man, congratulations again, and we will see you next week at Atlanta.
If I'm alive, I'll be here. Y'all have a good evening.
All right, brother. Well, Michael, another one in the books. Let's go on down here to the broadcast studio and finish out. Michael, what a race tonight, don't you think?
Yeah, really good race. And for only having 15 guys take the green, they put on a heck of a show. That's for sure.
They absolutely did. And this is just the first one in the books for the season for the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League. And I think we're going to see a lot of promising racing moving forward for the rest of their season, as they have a 9-race regular season, then a couple of rounds of playoffs. Then it looks like 3 rounds for that first level, and then another 3 rounds for the second section of the playoffs, and then, of course, championship week. So going to be an interesting season here in the Monster Energy NASCAR Racing League. And before we get out of here, let's take one final look at the final race results here as we pull those up. Steve Waldrop brings home the checkered flag, driving the number 20 Yahoo Toyota Camry, as he had made that beautiful last lap pass. And I can barely even say last lap. It was more like last chance pass around Dylan Hervenden, the pride of Bradford, Pennsylvania, who finishes P2. Bill English finishes in third. That makes up your podium. He is followed by Richard Rico in fourth, and David Simcox rounds out the top 5. Matthew Johnson, Ryan Douglas, Jeremy Robbins in the number 21 Ford Mustang, Chris Isaacs in the number 3 Chevrolet Camaro, and Richard Hurst in the number 76 Ford round out the top 10. Richard Mandonka, Curtis Ecker, Casey Duncan, Mason Thompson, and Charles Blankenship in the 14 Toyota Camry round out this field tonight. 15 cars took the green flag, 14 cars saw the checkered flag, but only one car could capture that checker flag, and that is Steve Waldrop in the number 20 Yahoo Toyota Camry. So, you know, Michael, it's been a pleasure working with you tonight. I'm glad that we got a chance to do this together, and I can't be more thankful. What do you think?
Yeah, it's glad to be able to get back into this, and glad that it was a good race to watch.
Without a doubt. Well, for myself, Dave Regal, Michael Self, and everybody here at ESBN in our Conshohocken, Pennsylvania studios and Sim Racing Media, I'm Dave Regal saying tomorrow, as you go through your day, make sure that you find one moment and hang on to it for a happy thought. Good night, everybody.